Tron. Really, Tron is 1 H away from being north, if you think about it.
I'm going to stop saying by the way. I'm going to say by the by.
By the by.
By the by, we're live.
Oh, I like my desk here. I like all sorts of fun stuff.
Get the bits.
Yeah, I do too. What do I have? Nothing. Well, let me see.
There's the chat room.
I've got like
popping out the chat.
What do you think of this? Look at that. Yeah.
There we go.
Maybe I'll do the whole show like this. Hey, what's up, guys? These are the world's worst censorship bars.
Hey, Grinwing.
Wait.
20. Mr. Peeb. We got Mr. Peebs.
I like that.
Wait, the holes here are the exact width of my eyes.
That's what she said.
Oh, yeah, that's what she said.
I got to get to the Twitch stream. Let's see. Where are my chat buddies?
Yeah, no. He's just trying to restore one and before somebody steals it out of his backyard again.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Populated Qbert control panel? No, unfortunately.
So that,
I got that scanned.
I have a feeling tonight we're going to get a speech from Brian on the quality of people.
No.
How about the general intelligence level of people? How about that?
we are doing.
Well, here's Brian's first problem. Assuming that everyone in the room is as smart as he is. That's the problem.
They're not. No.
Yeah. Just realize that the two people you're talking, well, at least one of us is not as smart as you.
So here's I did get the Qbert back. Is there any way we can post a link to a video?
No, not now. If you give it to me like a few minutes before the show, I could.
Oh, if only you had more capabilities. No, so I did get it back, but the entire Qbert was dissolving because the guys who stole it had left it out in the rain for those 3 large rainstorms we had in Minnesota. So the guy, he was really nice about it. He was very apologetic. He came out with this like wad of 1s and 5s in his hand. Like, I collected $100 to give you, or I pulled together $100 to give you for the cabinet. And I kind of looked at it. I'm like, it's okay. Like, it's not going to fix that.
No, that's going to be a rebuild.
You need it more than I do.
Yeah. That's not good.
I appreciate you giving it back.
Yeah.
Like, we're good. So
yeah. Definitely.
For
sure.
You might want to wait for a few more chatters to get in before you start talking about all this stuff.
Yeah, this is cool, man. This
is good stuff. This is what you've been working on.
Nice.
Is that for the Warren Davis edition?
No, this is the so we're making panels, and so I've been buying artwork from the guys who sell it and scanning it, not to reproduce it, but then doing the DXF files so that I can drop them onto our panel. So if you buy a Qbert overlay from Mike's Arcade, it will be a perfect match for the Gottlieb panels that we're releasing.
You're saying the marquee will match
the control panel overlay. So these holes will be a perfect match for the control panel that we're working
I'm confused. Do you know what he's talking about, Mark?
I think that he's talking about coordinating, production of overlays and actual panels.
Well, I don't know if it's coordinating as much as it's just
overlays and what?
Control panels. Yeah. So if you want to do a Mad Planets, all these holes need to line up.
Yeah.
Right? Well, nobody, so what I did was I bought this from, I think it was Mike's Arcade.
Yeah.
He sells it.
Yeah.
And I took this, scanned it, created a DXF file, which creates the whole geometry.
What's a DXF file for?
It's for putting it into CAD.
So you're making control panels, the metal part.
Yep. And so I dropped the outline of this onto the control panel to make the holes line up perfectly with the control panels I'm making.
Whiskey Flipper asks, I have a question, Brian. Will the Qbert CP fit on a Kroll cabinet?
That's a good question. I'll have to double check. I have a Kroll and I can measure it. I believe they do fit the same one, and I will probably be doing some Kroll control panels because my goal is to actually make screw loose.
Nice. Hey, DXF, Drawing exchange format.
Drawing exchange format.
Yes, welcome to the Drawing Exchange Format store. What would you like?
Graphics.
Well, we have
Interchange
plenty of that here in the
format.
back, sir. If you could just please take your pants off and step back here. What? Why does everything degrade into...
Hey, Shotty, come over here.
Hi. Sit on my lap. I'll show you.
Bing, ding, 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 ding.
I need to mount this on the roof.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Wave to everybody. It's Sam's birthday.
Happy birthday, Sam.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
And you got a drum roll or something.
I don't know.
She got a rim shot.
Thanks. Rim shot. Oh, hey, don't touch me there. Okay. Hi.
Don't touch that.
What did I get? I got a 12% Surge White Claw. It's not for normal. Yeah.
Nice.
They're $2 each.
I got the.
What do you got?
Whoops.
I have an empty glass. I should probably go fill it.
Ooh, sweet. Can we do all of our
Ooh.
drink setups during the opening of the show?
Glenn
Well,
Farkless. Okay, yeah, we got 3 minutes for drink setups. I'll go get mine.
Okay.
So it's funny because the guys in the shop decided we need an emergency whiskey or scotch bottle in the shop.
Okay.
And Susan nixed that idea. So it became an emergency secret scotch bottle in the shop.
Oh my. What? So wait, what's the container?
Oh, it's the.
Oh, I see. Yes. So
Oh,
that's what it comes with.
nobody comes in here. I mean,
Which-
this.
You
My
could
office is a disaster.
Oh, I see. I don't think you broadcast in here very often, do you?
I used to. This used to be the Tempest is right here.
Right.
Remember, we used to have the Major Havoc, but it's been a year.
Man.
So, but like my desk is, I mean, tin detector. Everybody needs a tin detector, right? This is super cool. So while Adam's gone, we'll entertain people.
Okay.
So what you do is, since I have marquee glass right here.
Oof.
So when you have marquee glass, you want to print on the side that was floated, that was not floated on the substrate. So when they make tempered glass, I don't know all the details. Somebody in the chat probably knows better than I do. One side is like on a fluid or something. The other side is open to air.
Mm-hmm.
And so this allows you to know which side is which. So you put on one side, it says testing. It gives you that side. Then you go over here, and then you push the button again, and it says I should print on. Hold on. Yeah, print on this side. This is the
Okay.
side that'll stick. So it actually will tell you which side of the glass is more adhesive to the printing.
Yes.
Molten zinc, big bad Brad. There we go. That would be Brad from Michigan, I believe.
Brad Holman? No.
No, Brad.
Holman's local.
I believe. I'm sorry. I'm like.
I've
dropping
seen
stuff.
Brad in it. There's people that are afraid of Twitch. Do you realize that? Because there was some billing issue like 5 years ago where people were, they were subscribing instead of following.
Oh, was that what Casey was saying? Is that in our little private texting group?
I don't know. But there are
texted
people that are afraid of it. So I have a little bit of cognac.
Cognac. Such a good word.
Pierre Ferrand.
Ah, est-ce que vous avez?
Yeah.
So,
I actually do speak French.
The Williams
there,
guy.
see?
Yes. Michigan.
Grinwing's here.
Oh, yeah. Grinwing.
Brad
You're Brad Holman. Of course.
That's right.
So for those of you that don't know Brad, Big Bad Brad, he does a lot of Williams stuff. So he has a page, which we should put up here at some point, that has a lot of kind of neat products that are pieces that he's made. But he's the one doing the wooden blaster restoration right now, which is really cool.
That could have been a gadget, man.
It's not a gadget.
Well, some of the stuff you talk about is not gadgets. Like marquees are not gadgets. Okay.
They are gadgets. Come on over. I'll show you.
All right. I'm going to tell you what a gadget is.
It's useful. Come here.
Come on.
We got some aggression on the show tonight. Hey, welcome to the show, Arctic Systems, Big Bad Brad 69. Billy 7 is in the audience tonight. Evab, and then I Lift 1971. Whoa, whoa.
Cheers, chatters.
And then some guy named Jabaruga Jagga Jagga and Joe Drosen. I haven't seen him in a while. That's pretty cool. Mike Page is in the house. I mean, Joe Drosen was on the show last week. And then we have Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino. Some bloody, some violent name. Time Runner 88. Who the hell is that? Whiskey Flipper. Okay, nice to have you guys in the chat. Plus, we're gonna.
88 sounds like some guy who wants to be younger than he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just me and Adam just had birthdays.
We sure did. Let's talk about it after we start the show.
Damn it!
All right. Okay.
Live from KOYR Studios in Minneapolis, Minnesota, this is Arcade Radio.
Beware, I live. Run, run, run.
Hey-o! Thanks for flying in from the Arcadosphere. This is Season 5, second to the last episode of the Arcade Radio podcast. That's number 23. Today is Thursday, September 2nd, 2021, and the time is now approximately 7:25 p.m. Central. I'm your host, Adam Mint Royale. I'm joined by my co-host, Mark. What idiot dressed you in that outfit, Shields? And last and least, Paradise Arcade Shop proprietor and stand-in for Lee Majors on the Fall Guy, Brian Thurston Howell Armitage III. And joining us tonight, he is a former Atari Games product manager, Stanford alumni, and entrepreneur trying to make the world a better place. Mr. David Macias will be joining us in just a little bit. You guys, welcome to the show. It's good to see you guys again, my arcade buddies.
Hello, you're looking very jolly.
You're looking very svelte.
David's looking a little blue tonight.
He's looking very blue. It's got a big
Skypey.
I like his t-shirt. It's got a big Skype logo on it.
It's too close.
So we're going to figure out how to get rid of Skype next season. What do you say about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm up for it.
I mean, I don't know. There's actually a bunch of upgrades coming. By the way, I want to announce right now, next week is the season finale. Yes, not 2 weeks, but next week. 9-9. Number 99 is...
Yeah.
Yes.
Agent 99?
Agent 99. Yes.
Miss it by that much.
That's right. So, Exterminator is a waste of a cabinet, and you're going to live in it.
Dang it.
So, but what I'm going to say is next week is going to be the season finale, and we have a fabulous show for you coming up. Mark, who are our guests for next week?
One of them is going to be the Battlezone guy.
Yeah, that's Ed Rothberg.
Ed Rothberg, correct. And we'll have all of our technical things resolved, and the show will start on time. It'll be amazing.
Well, last time Ed was on the show, we had about a 25-minute start time for him, and I think he was a little upset.
He was a little...
Plus, he was in a cast.
Oh, I forgot about that. We should ask about that.
Yeah, he was in he had a leg problem. So, and then we're having his best friend on, Mr. Owen Rubin.
Good times.
Brian, you've been maybe you can talk about gadgets like that gadget. You know, I don't know.
Gadget.
So anyway, you guys, it's going to be a great show. We're going to have both Ed Rothberg and Owen Rubin on. They're good friends. They've been friends since Atari. They're fantastic guests, and we have them both on to talk about products projects that they worked on together at Atari. It's going to be a great show. Please tell your friends to join us next week, 9/9 at 7:15 p.m. Central, because it's going to be a great show. It's going to be super exciting. I love that we're finishing with an Atari guest, or 2 Atari guests, 3 Atari guests.
Right.
I
So
mean,
much Atari.
it's so much
One
Atari.
more.
Yes.
Ooh.
Anyway, let's talk about what you've been working on.
Jabarugi is very upset about Snacks and Jackson.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's. Yeah. I don't know what to say about that, but let's move the show along so we can, get to
That's what
the
I've been
other
working
segments
on.
of this show. All right, I'll start. Okay, I've been working on my fire truck. All the metals are off to the powder coater. They're probably almost done. I should be getting them early next week. The cabinet is got its monitor back from Paradise, and it is functional. I plugged the board in, and I've got board problems. So I've got some graphical issues. I've replaced all the 2111 -4A RAMs and the CPU, and I've still got some artifacts. I have a couple of tips of things to check. Possible prom problem. I'm not sure. It sounds more like a logic problem though, because one guy pointed out that the cars that you have to dodge are horizontal; they should be vertical. So in the attract mode. So I think there's a little bit. Anyway, I ended up buying another Fire Trek PCB, and this one has a whole set of different problems, which is great because they're not exactly like the problems I had on the other one. So I think I'll be able to do a little swapping back and forth and trial and error to figure out what's going on. And that combined with my questions in the Bronze Age group on Facebook might help me solve my problem.
That's a helpful group.
It is unless Eugene Mosh is in there. That guy's a dick.
He's very ordinary.
Yeah, here's what I said, that the game was having a hum. And then I described the problem with the graphics and what I replaced. And this was his response. Well, the hum's easy to fix. Period. That's all he said. I'm like, well, thanks, asshole. Because I didn't ask for you to say the hum's easy to fix. I asked for help, dickwad.
Is he on Club? It seems like
I don't know.
see him on Facebook.
But I'm hoping somebody listens to the show, says, "Hey Eugene, this guy's been talking smack about you," because I think Eugene Mosh is like a brilliant guy that can fix anything, and he's an asshole. It's like, okay, well, why can't you just be nice and fix stuff instead of
like the iFix Sega guy?
Yeah, be nice. Don't be an asshole and fix stuff.
Yeah.
Ken and I Repair Sega is like the nicest guy.
So nice. I would make him a best man at my wedding.
Oh.
I talked to him today actually.
Oh.
He's on the phone with me. He's like, this hot rod board doesn't work. I plug it into everything. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's not working. Was it working there? It's not working.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm like, what's wrong? He's like, it just started working. Okay. I'll talk to you later.
Oh, anyway, let me finish what it's. So that's what all I've been working on is my fire truck, and you guys, it's looking pretty cool. I got the new flooring in, the new pedals in. The thing looks phenomenal. And when I'm finished, I'm gonna
step back on that.
What's that?
Can we take a step back? The monitor is functional.
It's functional. Yeah.
It's not beautiful.
No, it's horribly burned in.
But not their fault.
No, it's not. I mean.
And we rejuvened that thing, and it went bam.
I do have to say that Paradise Arcade did the best job they could to fix this thing. And it started out with no picture, and then a dim picture, and then a very bright picture, but it still got burned in, and that's nobody's fault.
I'm sending all of my, you know what? As far as fixing these 2 games, Paradise Arcade Shop. Arcade Shop. Let's make.
I gotta say, you guys, if you have monitor issues and you want them fixed, send them to Paradise. They do a freaking great job, and it was quick. It was super quick turnaround.
And I think actually the other thing, thank you, I really appreciate that. The other thing that I'm gonna actually say is that if you have black and white monitors in these games, and you have the ability to rejuvenate them, oh my gosh, the difference it makes.
Yeah, it's like going from 4 on your volume to 10. Or maybe even 11.
It's an 11.
Oh.
That's it. Yeah.
11. Hey, weren't we going to do this show with English accents?
That's right.
What happened?
I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce you, Mr. Mark Shields. What have you been working on?
Hey,
Do tell.
Folks,
Do tell.
What's up?
That's right. Get it.
Okay, I'm already exhausted.
He's got to get a Cockney accent in there. Hey, governor.
Hey,
I was on Mary Poppins.
I bought I went to Arbor Freight today.
That's horrible. Keep going.
Yes, I bought a ramp for me, okay? Because I've got me bumps outside and I didn't want to go over them. So I needed me a ramp, and that's why I went to the Arbor Freight.
That's horrible. That's a horrible accent.
Thank you. I mean, I've been trying to get into the video vendor into the house.
It's the house.
Way more Australia than it is like.
No, I think I'm from Wales mostly.
Now, if he was from Australia, he'd sound like this.
Yes, he'd sound like he needs a knife.
He's a wily one, that one. If I get too close, I'll be dead in seconds.
Dude, it has an eye in it and maybe an arm. I'm not sure.
All right. So that's because I can only do my Australian accent when I imitate, the crocodile hunter. So
okay, so let's see. What else? I juggled my games. That's why all of my minis are now in the exercise room that nobody uses. And I brought Pong into the office. Computer space used to be over here, which you can't see. It's off camera. Frisky Tom is now in that spot. And actually, I pulled the Frisky Tom monitor out because it wasn't working. It wasn't getting – it comes up and it gets to sync, but it was acting weird, and I thought maybe the vertical IC was messed up. And so I go and I look at it, and it looks like a blind man had tried to do a cap kit with, a blowtorch and a straw, There's some fucked up shit on this. I can't hear – it's right here. I don't know. I'm not gonna show you. It's just horrible. It's horrible.
Was it frisky?
No, I don't even know yet because it's been pre-destroyed by somebody. And this is what I mean. At least this is one of those people that uses the marker on the top of the capacitors to show that yes, I did check to make sure the polarity's in the correct direction. And I'm like, well, you did such a good job with that. Why didn't you use something that wasn't a knife to scrape the solder off? But anyway, okay, I'm sorry. I'm going on too far with this. Oh,
it is a strong beer.
On my birthday last week, by the way, I turned 52 years old.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I saw one of my alerts on eBay that never fired off. It was for Star Guards, which is it's one of these. It's a Bally Midway game. It's in the same cabinet as
Hellfire.
No, I can't. I don't know why I'm having a problem thinking of it. The game where the monkeys are climbing on the mountain, on the buildings, and they're hitting things and
Rampage.
Rampage, yes. So I have an original Star Guards cabinet that somebody was like, "This game sucks. I'm going to convert it to a Rampage." But to get Star Guards on it, I needed to start somewhere. So I now have. It's so heavy. Hold on. Jesus. Do you see this?
Holy crap.
Nice.
That is beautiful.
It is perfect. It is
I want
immaculate.
That is really nice. That's OG?
OG, yes.
Holy crap, that's awesome.
What are these Monroe joysticks? There's like 6 of them.
Yes.
Oh my god, it's heavy. I'm like starting to get a workout now and sweat.
Yeah,
yeah.
Got to go like a turbo vet. Yeah.
So now all I need is a PCB and a bezel and a marquee, and bam, I have the cabinet. Hopefully I can.
That's totally rad.
Yeah.
You just need a picture of the marquee. I can print it for you.
Okay, fine, done. It's that bezel that's the trick, I think.
Do you have the Do you have Power Drive?
I have it. It's funny. There's a DOS app called Power Drive, but I don't think it's what you were asking about.
No, that's the other. It's another one of the games that was in that cabinet.
Oh no, I don't. That's the one cabinet I have. My other cabinet is the one that they did in the late '90s. That's in like the giant cabinet.
The Power Drive is like monster truck track and field.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
It's kind of interesting. You have like a 2-wheel, a 4-wheel, so you got shift in a 4-wheel and you're driving over the cars. So you're like pounding the buttons and you're shifting. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. It would be nice to have like a row of the similar cabinets.
Yep.
Okay, so that's what I was working on. Who's next?
What
Who
up?
wants to go next?
Brian,
I can go.
go.
All right, yeah, go for it.
Hurry it. Let's
So,
get it up.
I was
Get
more-
it up.
I was more supervising and cracking a whip last week on Billy 7 because we're getting ready for 2D-Con. So we went over there with the Snacks and Jackson that everybody is excited about
Yes.
in the chat. It was actually it is a different game. I'll tell you, the game was a lot better after the trackball was fixed. And Dave did a great job of that.
It'd be great if you fix the controllers on Exterminator. That'd be great.
What, so that you could actually learn how to play it?
Yeah.
The other things we've been working on is we got our Warlords over there. We at the same time we fixed Adam's Black and White. We got an upright Warlords. Got that over there. That was beautiful.
By the way, I want to say, speaking of trackballs, Jabba Riga in the chat, he brought a dumpster fire conversion of a jack-specific handheld you plug into your TV. He put it into an actual Golden Tee cabinet. And and he's got a half trackball running the thing, and it's baller. Yeah, I'm actually the game is a port of one of the earlier versions of Golden Tee, and I think it has like 3 courses. It's super fun. Like if you get it, it's a little white handheld about this big with a 2.5-inch trackball, 2.25-inch trackball. I don't know, something small. And then if you take the board out of that thing and just throw a hap on it, that thing is baller.
Huh. Baller.
It's boss. Yeah.
So we also got Viper running.
What?
So Viper is have you guys seen Danger Zone?
Danger
Up
Zone!
at Starcade. It's a jet game where you're moving the monitor. You've got 2 Mach 3 joysticks. They're fixed on the control panel, and then you actually move the monitor left to right and up and down, and that's how you aim and shoot things. It actually has multiple Cosmic Chasm encoders inside of it. They're Cinematronics games. So that was Danger Zone. Viper is kind of the sister game, also a very similar type game. It was awesome. Seeing that go, they didn't. Not a lot of them made it. The monitors often had problems because you're like shaking the monitor around as you're playing, but ours is doing fine. What else did we do? We brought, I'm completely forgetting now, we brought the Doctor Who. Oh, dinosaur eggs went up. That was fun to get going. And I got a Tempest, one of my multiple Tempests. So the last Tempest I think I'm going to sell, I got done, fixed up, got it out. And the next Tempest we're going to actually convert, I think, do a Major Havoc conversion on.
Nice.
Fabulous.
To sell or to put into the Cade?
To put up in the arcade.
Nice.
So I have it dedicated for myself. We're going to actually use the FPGA board in this one. Although I may have to have somebody order the artwork for me on that.
That's awesome.
Billy 7, notice we got 720 running, and then finally the Qbert cabinet.
We talked about that at the beginning of the show.
We did. So,
Wait, did we preface that with saying what happened? Because I don't think that happened.
Brian was working, and actually, it's not a Q. It was going to be a Qbert. It was going to be a.
It was a Qbert. So I had a Qbert cabinet that I was sanding, got all refinished, got the sides stripped down, had put the final coat of sealer on, was in the front of the shop with the garage door open, came back, and I'm not joking, to print on golf balls for a nonprofit for newborn children birth defects.
Yeah.
And while I was doing that, 2 guys came into the parking lot and were like, "Is this junk? I think it's junk. It's got wet urethane on it, but I think it's junk. It's sitting right next to the building, but it's probably junk." And they took it.
Yeah. Oops.
And we had the whole thing on videotape. Huge props to the social media community. I threw it out all over the place on Facebook, Reddit, and evidently the guy that took it said his friend sent it to him, and he said he's never seen that many people he didn't know call him an asshole at the same time. and it really freaked him out. He was very worried about getting arrested. And so...
Well, they knew they were doing the wrong thing. They were pointing at the cameras and stuff. And just to be clear, it was next to a garbage can, not on garbage day.
Technically a recycling bin.
But not garbage day, and it wasn't out by the curb.
And how hard would it have been to knock on your door?
Well, yeah. Well, they tapped on the door.
They knocked on the other door, but the funny thing is so I'm in the office now. They looked in this window, and it's clear from the reaction they kind of talked themselves into this. They're kind of like, we shouldn't, but let's do it.
Right.
And so they did, and then they took it, and we'll kind of skip forward here. I mean, they I don't think there was any malintent. I think they kind of convinced themselves to do something they knew they shouldn't. So I go to get this cabinet, and Dave and I show up, and it was Billy.
This story is way too fucking long, dude.
I love it. No,
this
is
is the best part.
Yes,
Show up, he tells me ahead of time, it might not be in the same condition that it was when we took it, because we had an overhang, and we've had 3 really large rainstorms, and it maybe got a little wet. So I show up and I look at this thing, and like the top of the cabinet where the sealer had worked and kept the water out is like 3/4 inch. And the bottom of the cabinet where the sealer had worked and kept all the water that got into the wood in the wood is like 1.5 inches.
Oh.
And I mean, the entire bottom of the cabinet is like, you can see the sealer's like delaminating from the wood. The wood is huge. And he's like, So Dave comes over and goes, it's not that bad. Let's dry it out and see how it looks. So we get back to the shop, and I'm like, screw this. I'm going to take it to this friend of mine who does cabinet work and have him just copy this in the Wizards of War cabaret. And, and so I take it over to him. And when I get there, the entire bottom of the cabinet just collapses.
Oh my God!
And he looks at it and he goes, so did you want this redone on a 1-inch plywood, or do you want me to do 3/4 inch? And I'm like, that's 3/4 inch. He's like, oh shit.
Man.
So, all right. So that's the long story, Adam. No gadgets today.
Amazing.
All right, no gadgets. That means we're moving on to the next section, which we all love.
The arcade news, arcades, pinball, industry alumni, arcade openings, selecting celebrities, world record holders, operators, going out, conventions. The arcade news.
We interrupt. There's been a late.
Whoa, hey, who interrupted? Somebody just totally interrupted. From Iowa Capital Dispatch. I don't know that publication personally, but boy,
So close to you though.
I gotta say, this font is like 8 point. What the hell? Okay,
Is it too small? Oh man.
at what point does an arcade become a gambling device that is subject to state regulation? That's the question raised, not only by this group and many, in a new lawsuit brought by the Trestle Corp against the Iowa Department of Inspections and Appeals. The company wants a judge to review and reverse a departmental finding that its arcade-style game of skill is actually a game of chance.
What?
I mean, are we going back in time here? This is
Like the
ridiculous.
whole pinball thing? Remember that?
And therefore, a state-regulated gambling device. So in February, Trestle... why am I reading this again? Oh, yeah, okay. So Trestle filed a petition with the DIA seeking a declaration order that its game of skill, which is sold to bars and restaurants for their customers to play, is a game of skill that shouldn't be treated as a gambling device. Okay, so in May, company officials demonstrated the game for the department officials and argued that the game is nothing more than an amusement device, with an outcome primarily determined by the skill or knowledge of the operator. The device offers different game themes, such as the duck game. Is anyone familiar with that? Because that's on.
Oh yeah, the duck game. Is that the one with the dog that smiles at you? Or...
No, it's on Steam.
No,
and you
it's
shoot
not?
each other with duck. It's
It's not.
Bug Crazy. And
where you eat bugs and then you're Nicolas Cage. Or...
Yeah,
No?
no, that's not it either. So the player can select on a touchscreen display these different themes. So players insert money into the device and can potentially win credits. That doesn't sound like a game of skill.
Oh.
So so they can either
Wah, wah.
Where's the
You're
wah wah?
fired.
I need the wah wah.
Now wait. So does this mean the games that are at Chuck E. Cheese are also gambling devices that give you credits via tickets?
Oh my
This-
gosh.
That goes way back, right?
Because they're saying these credits can be used for additional gameplay or redeem for merchandise.
We just need to do it like they do in Japan, where you have like the pachinko in one store,
Yeah.
and the coins are worth nothing, and you have to go out and go to the other store to redeem the coins,
Sure.
and that makes it legal.
Ooh. I'm moving. Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was getting a text. Okay, so from GameRant.com. Oh, I should probably finish this out. So DIA ruled that in July that the device was a game of chance and not of skill. Well, that sounds.
Yeah.
So, oh, yeah.
Can you imagine if that happened to an arcade game? Like if they were like, "No, this is a gambling device." Like what arcade game do you think they would ever think that? I mean, okay, Warlords. I mean, I love to gamble Warlords though, but
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's gambling.
yes, I knew it. What? I like how you use that sparingly.
Okay, from GameRant.com, the classic Atari game Centipede is making a comeback. I mean, did it ever really go away?
Did it?
Did it?
Did it?
Did it?
Yeah.
Did it?
Yeah.
Did it? Oi, I don't know.
I don't know. Perhaps it did. Perhaps it did.
Centipedes every time I go out to the garden.
Atari Centipede debuted as an arcade cabinet back in 1981. The epitome of a retro game classic, the game's been ported, remade, and re-released several times over the last 40 years and is now getting a new life as Centipede Recharged. Atari announced the rebooted game with a trailer on Tuesday, whilst they were suing multiple people for
And making loads of money. Loads of it just everywhere. It was like a strip bar full of money.
You could say it
and
was
Atari was the man.
The publisher did not announce a release date, but the trailer shows how Centipede Recharged hopes to reinvigorate the franchise. I didn't realize it was a franchise. I guess, does T-Mek a franchise? So Centipede and Millipede, it's suddenly a franchise?
That's it. Yeah, as long as you break out of that one, thing, you're a franchise. Done.
Really, it's more like a neighbor, right? It's, I don't know. It's like a franchise is like 4 McDonald's. A Centipede and a Millipede is like, hey, neighbor. I don't know.
They need to come out with quadrupede.
So Centipede Recharge sports a reinvented retro-futuristic look.
Retro-futuristic.
What the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
It's the mini macro.
Yeah.
It's the mini macro mega.
It's the giant nano size.
It's the giant nano size super ultra nano broad. So I love this line though. You got to let me read this. Centipede Recharge sports as a reinvented retro futuristic look, bathing the classic wireframes in bright neon colors.
I think we just booted Mr. Peabody from the chat. That's just not anything anybody needs to remember.
Why? The bathing part?
The human centipede.
Yes.
Oh, human centipede. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. As long as it's all women behind me, it's okay.
So the aesthetic is similar to last year's Missile Command Recharge, which if you play that on the iPad, it's actually quite fun. Have you tried that?
I have
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool because you could take and you can put an artificial Missile Command cabinet in your room. Like it does like a 3D representation. You hold it up to the room and put a blank wall, and you can have a Missile Command and it's playable. So you can play the cabinet in your
Okay. All right. Let me know when you're done. I got one more news article.
Ooh.
What? All of a sudden you're gonna. Okay, over to you, Brian.
Well, did you guys see the popular science with the you can drive it outrun?
No.
Okay. Well, there's a popular science article where they use a camera system on the front of an outrun cabinet, and it takes the environment around you and it imports it into the game and creates the game like graphics based on that, and then you actually drive the outrun game around your environment.
This sounds like a gadget. Maybe we should go to the gadget section.
Well, but the thing is, you can own this. You can actually own this cabinet. So it was in Popular Science like a year ago.
Wait, I owned it?
You can own it. It is for sale. It goes for sale next weekend at the Captain's Auction. There's a Popular Science article on it.
By the way, ABBA's got a new album out.
What?
I just thought we were throwing in things. Sorry.
This is awesome.
It
Are
is.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
This is an outrun.
So is ABBA's new album. I mean, come on. ABBA hasn't had an album in 40 years.
I'm excited.
Me
Check out
too.
that link. It's pretty wild. So you can actually drive Outrun around your neighborhood, and it creates the road that you're driving on the cabinet and obstacles based on what's in the environment, and the camera system picks up.
I'm starting to wonder if our guest is going to show up.
Oh yeah, you should ping him.
We have a guest. He's going to be on the show. He hasn't panic texted me yet, so I think we're okay. Okay, we should probably move on to the next section though, because he's going to be coming on any minute.
All right.
Right? I like this next section. You might too. It's called Back to the Cade.
Back in '82, I used to be able to throw a pigskin quarter mile.
Back to the Cade with
Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull?
Hey everybody, welcome to the part of the show where I try to... Okay, I'm looking at Adam, a little confused. No, that's not usually what I do in this part of the show. This is where I try to relate something to Back to the Cade. Let's talk about the history of the Back to the Future video games, okay? Not everything in Back to the Future's history has been smooth. Over the years, various game developers attempted to translate that message of the film into video games, starting with LJN of all people.
Oh, the LGN guys. They made ET figures.
Did they? I like that. Yeah, I associate toys with them, not video games, but
Yep.
it's awkward.
They made a bunch of LGN games, some crappy ones too.
Yes, well, this isn't any exception. So they made one for the NES, and eventually,
Karate Kid.
Well, I mean, other manufacturers, Telltale Games, Warner Brothers Interactive, they took other shots at it, and it just didn't work out quite as good as they thought that it was going to. There's not actually been like an excellent Back to the Future game of any kind, in my opinion. So,
well, they did the Karate Kid game too. Did you try that one?
No, I have not. Do you just hit Ralph, that other guy, in the face with your foot over and over?
No, it's horrible.
It sounds bad.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's almost as bad as Back to the Future. It's one of the top 10 worst video games. I don't know. Top 10 anything are subjective, are they not?
Yeah, well, I mean, coming around, that Back to the Future game came out when Back to the Future Part 2 hit theaters, so people were freshly, ready. But it was an abomination, right? one of the worst games ever. Let's see. You start out by collecting clocks in an automatic scrolling stage to keep Marty from fading away in a family picture, and then that goes into 3 mini games where you face Biff, his bullies. You avoid kisses from your mom. What?
Well, I mean that makes sense, right?
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, when in the movie did she try to kiss him and they were going through the air and you had to avoid them and then you live? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he should just kiss her.
And then in the end, you have to keep a guitar.
She tried to kiss him in the bedroom.
You have to keep a guitar in tune while Lorraine and George kiss. There's a lot of kissing going on in this game. What was going on in the 80s when they were like, oh, this is a great idea. Come on. None of these levels have any sort of redeeming gameplay, and the fact that the same sped up version of the Power of Love plays pretty much throughout the game, you would want to kill yourself. And thus concludes my discussion over the worst Back to the Future arcade.
But wait,
game
is there more? Because that just doesn't. I mean, really?
Well, LJN did make a Back to the Future Part 2 and 3 as well. You don't want to talk about that, do you?
Not really.
It's still that one also stinks. So maybe we'll save it for next week. Maybe I'll just jump straight to the part where I ask Adam what.
No, don't do
Come
that.
on, what's in the juke?
No, I don't want even want.
Please.
I'm deleting everything in the juke right now. It's just
No.
This is a terrible. This is a travesty, and I don't know what's happening right now.
For those of you who would like distraction from regular programming, I did post the Popular Science article inside the chat.
That is
I love that. That's awesome.
5 lines long in my box.
What's in the juke?
Is it over? Welcome to the season 5 edition of What's in the Juke. It's the game of the podcast. Today we're We have brain-twisting 80s songs for you that will be played in reverse at a random point in the song.
Hold it. We
Yes.
just had a guest join us.
Hello, sir.
This is a great time for him to join us because things have gotten crazy.
Crazy.
Crazy's good. Can you hear me?
We can
Yes,
hear
it's
you
great.
fine.
Definitely.
Lighting is perfect.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is David
you
Macias.
can see me too?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And you look good. And he's blue. I love that he's blue.
I am blue today.
Yeah. I want to play the blue song, but we'll get banned on everything.
No,
So, okay. David, we are doing a section of the show that is near and dear to our chatters' hearts. Yeah. It's called Back to the Cade, and it is a contest. And Mark, why don't you tell us again about the show?
Sure, we'll be playing brain-twisting 80s songs that are going to be played in reverse at a random point in the song.
Yes.
If the listeners can guess the song title, they will get... Let's see if we can do this while Adam's drinking. Nope.
Oh, because
Half point.
Yes, if they can guess the artist, they will also get.
Half point.
Yes. Dang it. My visual cues aren't working that great. If you can guess both the artist and the title.
Full point.
If you don't know either, please fight amongst yourselves, sirs.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Well, we all love the 80s. That was a lot of fighting. So let's begin.
Begin.
Okay, here comes your first track.
Oh, that's Toto.
Yeah,
Very well.
we got a point for the
You
guest.
get a point.
Okay, we probably should let the guest know that he's got an advantage.
Africa.
That's right. It is Africa. Well, I think we should let the guest participate for at least the first 4.
Why not?
Because
there's 15.
There's a lot of them tonight. Okay, let's do 10 of them tonight. Let's not do all. Let's pick some random ones. Anyway,
Sure.
David, I just want to let you know you've got a severe advantage on the chatters.
They have like a 10-second delay.
Yeah. So, yeah. So when you're hearing this, go ahead and keep it to yourself. and then you could just be like, I knew it was Toto the instant you played it.
Got it.
All right.
You don't want me to show my prowess?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You don't want me to show my prowess?
Oh, you just did. You just totally nailed that one. I was like,
Yeah, that was like 2 seconds.
I think we should actually have a caller call in, and then we'd have an equal match. All right, here we go. Here comes your second track, chatters. By the way, who got it in the chat? Anybody?
Oh, I didn't even look. Let's see.
Looks like Whiskey Flipper got the artist, and Andrew B got the song.
Right. Nice. Okay, here we go. Here comes your second track. Oh, that's a tough one. It's funny. I sing this to one of my friends all the time because we watched the movie Rock of Ages together. And there's a great scene with
Alec Baldwin?
yeah. And what's his name?
That guy?
Yeah,
I don't know.
that British guy.
Andrew Garfield? No, I don't know. He's the only
Exactly.
British guy. I'm the only British guy.
That was a hard one.
You missed out earlier.
A few seconds delay is, it is what it is. Nobody knows. It was
Oreo Speedwagon?
It was REO
Yes!
Speedwagon. And you know the song.
I'm trying to allow plenty of delay.
No, you're fine.
No, you're done. They've been guessing
they've-
and guessing wrong.
Yeah, they've been guessing wrong. It's your game now.
Ah.
Yes.
Play a few more seconds for you backwards. That can't be the chorus.
You're this feeling anymore.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct. Dave Macias is ahead by what, 2 points now?
Half point. Full point.
I'll give him a half point because we.
Okay.
And
He
Adam was
definitely
trying
got-
to say, Russell Brand.
Russell Brand. That's right. Yeah.
That's it.
Oh my gosh, you guys! If you haven't seen Rock of Love or whatever it is, it's
Rock
hilarious.
of Ages.
Rock of Ages. It's freaking funny. Okay. These are really hard this week.
This is a tough one.
Yeah. It sounded easier when I was making it. I don't really.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should play like a little timer.
Hey, look!
Chicago's. Oh, there you go. Jabaruga got it.
It's not Chicago, but
not exactly. No.
Close enough. We're gonna give a half point, and that was
Half point.
Peter Cetera.
Jabaruga the full point. He got both, didn't he?
No, he didn't. He got Chicago.
Well, he got Peter Cetera, Jabaruga.
Okay.
Half point.
Whatever. Give people points. It's a good game. Okay, here we go. Here comes your next track. So the problem with this song is nobody would listen to it. Oh my God.
No, they got it right away.
I was
my God.
I was just gonna say nobody would listen to this song forward.
Or intentional.
But then, of course, Christopher gets both of them for a full point.
Full point.
Good job, Chris.
That is New Kids on the Block, Hanging Tough.
Yes.
What decade are we in? I'm sorry.
That's 1989.
It just barely made it in.
So probably picked it around the time that Atari Games was really just about dead. Or in the middle of being dead.
That was later.
Was it 92, 93 when they died?
No. I got there in the early 90s. That was before San Francisco Rush, buddy.
Oh, was it really?
The 90s was the last glory of the arcade.
Okay.
And that was the glory of love. So the glory.
Oh, yeah. All right. We're not going to get through all these, so we're going to do.
No, there's a lot. Yeah.
Let's do 4 more. Because I just don't really want to bore our guests. I want to pick some good ones here.
This is fun.
Let's try.
Let me know.
Oh, this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one. You'll know what it is.
David Bowie.
By far one of my favorite albums of his. It is Let's Dance. It is David Bowie. So we got Andrew with Bowie, and we got Let's Dance by Christopher.
Half point.
For both of those guys. All right, great.
Since it's backwards, wouldn't it be Bowie, David, and Dan Let's?
Now, don't start, because last time they were spelling the entire name backwards. It's funnier than hell, but it's hard to read.
That's for extra credit.
It is for extra credit. Okay, here comes your next track. I don't know this one at all.
That's pretty
my old garage band. That's my old garage band.
I don't think anybody's going to get that one. It was
That's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm going to tell everybody right now. That was Never Surrender by Corey Hart backwards, which sounds actually really good backwards, but it's not anything like the song. Okay, here comes another track.
Listen. It's like somebody got shot.
Yeah, and actually, the guests got it again, but Christopher got it first. Billy Idol. It's not White Wedding though. Whiskey Flipper with Rebel Yell.
Rebel Yell, yeah, it was Rebel Yell. I was Yell
Half
Rebel.
point.
Half point for those fellas. Way to go. Okay, all right, keep fighting it out. We got another one coming. Okay, this guy is no longer with us. I'll give you that hint. Backwards, he sounds a little like Ozzy Osbourne, but
a little bit.
It's not him. It is Eddie Money. Grinwing. Brad Holman with Eddie Money.
We lost Eddie Money.
Half point.
That's awesome.
Do the last one.
Take Me Home Tonight is correct, Mr. Peabody.
On the board,
Half point.
What's that?
He's on the board, Mr. Peabody, for the first time tonight.
These are hard going backwards.
Yeah, well, you know.
All right, we got two more. Here we go. This is tough now. I'm going to have to pick. Okay, here we go.
I love her.
I think.
Yeah. I just forgot her name right now.
Patty Smythe.
We are the Warriors. Or
Yeah, The Warrior by Scandal. All right.
Nice.
And we did get somebody got it before you. It was Mr. Peabody.
Yes.
Not
I'm
Joan Jett.
officially on delay, everybody. I'm in a different inertial reference frame. We're doing multiple dimensions here on Arcade Radio.
I love it. Oh,
Nice.
I'm going to use that clip. That's awesome. Next season, that's coming on. Along with Eugene Jarvis. Is anybody going to listen to this anyway? I think those are pivotal clips.
And Nolan Bushnell, is that guy awake?
Is that guy awake? Okay. All right. We got a little bit of feedback coming from David because his volume's a little high maybe. But okay. So here comes your next track. It's almost the same backwards.
I know.
It is Baltimore. Brad Holman pulled that out of a hat. That's fantastic.
Is my mic fixed?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Okay.
it's the Yowie Yawa song. Nope.
Oh.
Hey, you know what's
Okay.
funny? I haven't seen Proc tonight.
Interesting. So, let me give you the rundown of the final here.
All right.
Jabaruga, 3.5 points. David, he came in with 2.5 points. in second
Nice.
place.
That's
Very
great.
well done. Whiskey Flipper with 1.5 points, and then Andrew B, Grinwing, Mr. Peabody with a point, and Joe Drosen bringing up the rear with a half point. Hey, what? Oh,
Everybody gets a trophy.
I was officially in a different inertial reference frame. I just had you know.
I like it.
All right.
I think we might have a voicemail, and it might interest David slightly. Maybe?
Oh, we should give a little preface on this because I think some of our guests don't know what's going on when we do this.
Right. So we have a guy that calls every week.
Yeah.
And his name is Bob Zarzadek.
Yeah.
And he calls us from jail. He calls us from,
One time he called us from the SpaceX platform. That was
That's
fantastic.
true. Well, I think the I love you, or I'm not sure exactly if that was the right one or not. But
yeah.
Anyway, last week he was skydiving, as he called us, and his second chute fell off of him, and then he had to end the call because he had to go figure out what he was going to do next.
That's right.
So it was a cliffhanger last week.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this character, his name is Bob
He
Zarzadek.
called again, so you know how that turned out. It's
That's
pretty
right.
good.
He's in the voicemail.
Unless he's just about to hit the ground. We're not sure.
Oh, yeah, I never know. Yeah.
Thank you for calling 612-548-GAME. This is Arcade Radio. Please leave your message after the tone.
Hey everybody, it's your buddy, Bob Zarzadek, control panel expert and technician. I just landed in some random backyard. My backup parachute deployment was super successful. Hey, hold on. There's two teenage kids here walking up to me.
Could you, not stand there and stuff?
Sorry, I accidentally landed here. Hi, I'm Bob. What's y'all's names?
Beavis Butt-Head.
Butt-Head. Is that just your first name?
My first name's Butt.
Oh, okay. That totally makes sense.
Hey, where'd those chicks go?
Oh, those were my parachute friends. In the sky? Yeah, supposedly they had some landing target that was their party.
Which party? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I was invited. They kept saying it was for VIPs only, and whenever I would ask about it, they'd shake their head.
This sucks more than anything that has ever sucked before.
Hey, yeah, so sorry about that, for landing here and interrupting you and stuff. Hey, what were you guys doing?
Boobs. Butt cheeks.
Oh, okay, well, I'm not gonna ask. Hey, you'll have to excuse me now.
Does that mean we're gonna get, money and stuff?
Actually, I don't have any on me. I was just, they said, don't bring your wallet when you're skydiving. It's a bad idea.
Yeah, it is.
All right, well, I'm gonna have to go. I gotta wish my arcade radio friends here on the phone good luck. Hey, you guys got any last words for them?
You want us to do a guy? We better be keeping. What am I?
Alrighty then. Well, I'm hanging up now before it gets super weird. Zarzadek out.
Okay, that was fantastic.
That was funny.
I'm gonna have to keep that one.
That was a surprise too, by the way.
Oh, that is fantastic. Oh, I forgot to play the dial tone. Okay. That was good though. Oh, dang, very good. That was very good. Sometimes he doesn't get the clap.
Sometimes they're bad.
Sometimes they're really the best though. Oh yeah. All right, so that means we're pretty much ready for the next segment of the show.
What's that?
Oh.
Good.
Oh, welcome to the show, Mr. David Macias.
Yes. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, so we're just gonna preface this. Why is he on the show? Everybody says. Why is this guy on? And it's funny. I put a picture of him up with Nolan Bushnell, and I put he's the guy on the left, because I wanted to make sure that people didn't think we're having Nolan Bushnell on again.
I saw that. That was awesome.
But David,
stay awake this time.
David, thanks for coming on the show. We met you through Brian. Actually, put you in touch with us. So tell us a little about how you guys met.
Brian, you wanna share the story?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is so it was first Anna Marie, right?
Yeah.
Paul's wife, who met you in, what was the name of the online?
The app is Clubhouse, and so it was through two clubs on Clubhouse: Tech News Around the World and MedTech,
which is really cool.
And so David and Anna Marie met and then got to talking. David then it came up, I guess, we are running this arcade called Starcade. Then Paul and David started talking. Then Paul's like, "You got to have this guy on the show." Well, so he texts both of us.
Yeah.
So we really should thank Paul and his wife as well.
Yeah, it was very. I mean, it was kind of funny because if I could go back through the texts, you should see how many texts I've gotten from Paul saying, "Have you talked to David? Has David been on the show? Have you like hourly almost after he said
now I have to tell you guys.
I don't know about that, but it was the serendipity for sure. It was pretty. I think Anna Marie just basically said, "Oh, we're at an arcade today" or something. My husband's hunting down arcade machines. I was like, "What?" And it's so we kind of were texting back and forth, and then I said, "Let me talk to Paul. Introduce me to Paul," and that it just kind of grew from there. And then I met Brian and all y'all.
Now I gotta say, Brian put me in touch with you. We had a phone call, and I knew instantly that I was gonna love having you on the show. And here's why: not because you worked at Atari Games, which is really freaking cool, but you just have this really awesome energy. So everybody, you guys are going to love this guy tonight. I just got to say thanks for being on the show. I think it's going to be a fantastic show. And let's kick off the interview by asking you to give us a little bit of your background. Tell us a little bit about Stanford and how you got to Atari.
Okay. Well, first I grew up in Vegas.
Vegas.
Nice. Take the dial. How far do you want to go?
That's good.
We started in a trailer in Vegas in the shadow of the International Hotel when Elvis was playing.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
I've
heck
been
yeah.
blessed with
In the
many
70s.
stories. we only have this is a 48-hour broadcast, right? We only have 48 hours. Otherwise, I would just tell them all.
Yeah.
But interesting, because I'll come back to that probably later in terms of, you know, a good friend of mine who grew up across the street named Lewis Castle, who is also one of the first guys at the GDC to win Innovator Extraordinaire Award and sold his studio. If you know Command and Conquer, you know Lewis. Anyways, yeah.
Tiberian Sun.
Vegas was fun. And so, but anyways, electrical engineering at Arizona State, and turned down an internship at NASA. I know.
What?
Because I took the one from HP Labs. So
smart.
Nice.
So well, it was they're both awesome, right? But this is the mid '80s, you know. So the inspiration for that I'll come back to later when we talk about games, my origin story. There's a little you know.
I didn't even prompt him. He just knows the origin story is a thing.
Yes.
I've been asking people for years now about what was your game origin story, because there's a bunch of different things that inspire people to go into games.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful question. It really reveals a lot.
We don't even have to do an interview. Just let him talk.
Yes, you're doing great. You're on a roll.
You're getting to know me, buddy.
Not easy.
Sorry. And just send me some. Okay, David, a little more.
I love it.
No, but so, okay, it was mid 80s, right?
Yeah,
so, my first job was at HP Labs as a hardware engineer for mini computer hardware. So one little last thing in the 80s, I guess I'll speak to is growing up in Vegas, I got into the old Comdeck shows and just all those old shows. And I do remember during the innovation of the personal computer, maybe you've heard of it. I'll just tell you that there was a lot of innovation, like in just as an example, in memory. Just I don't know if you care to hear all these crazy stories.
Yeah, we do care.
Think of remember the pencil geeks or whatever, the little pocket protectors, little thing. Yes. So we did, everybody, have pens in our pockets, and we would put a little piece of plastic. So imagine a pen or a pencil today, and imagine like a pencil sharpener. So one of the memory media that was, an innovation, but never really got anywhere, was imagine a pen, forget floppies. Yeah. Imagine the pens that you would just put in your pocket and then just pop into the pencil holder, sharpener rather, to read it, right? So in any case, it was pretty cool to grow up in Vegas, and it's just kind of funny how on my yellow brick road or whatever, it's just these little different experiences that led me different places, I suppose. So in any case, and then I jumped into sales and marketing from the lab. And then went to business school and worked at Apple and worked on QuickTime marketing strategy just as it was launching. So the first algorithm at QuickTime for QuickTime was road pizza. So driving up and down I-280, you often, back then at least, there were like animals that would like run across the freeway and you'd hit it and squish it, and thus road pizza. So somewhere on a floppy disk, I have my first animation, with that I made way back in the day. It was pretty lame, but it was of a road pizza. I have it in a video actually. I have found old videos that I rip. Do they call them rip? I guess digitized. You don't rip videos.
No, we still rip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rippers.
I went from a VHS tape, right? So. Yep. In any case, so then my second year of business school is when I started to get, kind of more interested in games. I went to Vegas to a show, and I met Madeline Canepa and Judy Lang, who were leaving Sega at the time to start Crystal Dynamics. And so I helped them write the business plan, and they raised the money, and there you go, Crystal. And so that was kind of my first entree to rolling up my sleeves. I did a little bit of consulting with University Games on the board game side. And so that was getting out of business school, a lot of consulting, another consulting. You've got do something when it's like, okay, David, back to
Okay, getting back to how you got to Atari.
Yes. Well, that year kind of I was doing a bunch of cool consulting things, but I applied with Mary Fujihara, who was the director of marketing at Atari Games, and they hired me, and thus.
Okay. About the hiring part, did you interview with anyone important, or were they just some schmuck that was like, we need a guy?
No. I mean, the thing, it was a very small team, right? There was only 2 product managers for quite a while, because we each had each product manager managed multiple production teams, right? Each production team had a producer and a whole team, but the product manager would be, time slicing.
Sure.
To support these different games, run the focus groups, run the concept, meetings, and help them with that. And then all the launching and things like that. So there were just Jerry Momoda and oh my goodness, sorry, I'm gonna have lots of brain parts.
There were people there.
Just 2 product managers reporting to Mary Fujihara that had been there for a long time. She was awesome.
All right.
So so I interviewed with them, and then with some of the engineers as well, and the producers.
So when you went into Atari Games, we're getting a little feedback from you. I don't know, your volume's a little high.
I can turn it down, I think.
Yeah. Because I gotta hear myself. Can you guys hear me? Anyway, I was gonna say, when you go into Atari Games, what were you thinking when you would go to apply for this job? Like, what was your thoughts? Like, Atari, like, oh, these guys made Missile Command. These guys made Centipede.
No. Now you're asking my origin story.
Oh,
right.
Well, let's jump into
the Atari was the fulfillment of kind of the thing that inspired me, which came before Atari.
Okay.
So
let's jump into that.
There's kind of, I think of it as like there's 3 experiences. One was what inspired me to do electrical engineering, which was Ghostbusters.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, people talk about these days, you have Elon Musk or these different things, games that can inspire children, right?
Right.
But anybody who was around watching those days, Ghostbusters was very cool because of those laser guns and things.
Yeah, ghost traps.
That's what got me on the road to technology and things. And then I would say another thing would be a very important experience I had at Pizza and Pipes, which was, again, I was in business school at the time, but it was I pumped at least $20 into hard Drivin, which is the Atari driving simulator, right?
Yep.
And for people that haven't experienced it, this was just one of the landmark games in technology, not just at Atari.
Right.
Because it used it wasn't a whole lot of colors. Okay, there were just a few colors, but there was enough polygons on the screen as you're driving the car to help you try to stay on a road, going around some hills and things like that. But what was key was a leather-wrapped, force feedback, haptic-powered.
Yes, I agree. And I hated the game, but the technology was awesome.
It was what was cultivated by that experience.
Yeah.
And again, I got to say, the graphics were completely like lame.
Sure.
But there's something special that happened in my brain and any other player when they grabbed the steering wheel. So what happened to me was I popped again. Being an engineer, I actually was teaching the sales force how to use architecture as a competitive weapon. Like, I know tech, right? And so after pumping $20 of quarters into that game, I just, had a good time. And then I jump into my Supra that had a leather wrapped wheel. And then as I get on the Cloverleaf on-ramp, I had a moment. I had a wormhole moment where I saw in the future, and totally not kidding, understand the technology, where it was all going to go. Thank you, Moore's Law and all that. And I saw the future. The first thing I thought was, oh shit, we're going to have legal issues because people aren't going to come out of these immersive experiences.
Oh.
But in that context, I thought, this is for me. So that was actually the Crystal Dynamics experience. And I did write a business plan. I did write, before I took the Atari job, I did have a business plan because I was thinking about going to raise money to create hip-hop themed adventure games on Super Nintendo.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, man.
So in any case, yeah, but I have it somewhere on a floppy. So, but that was another key thing that inspired me. That was a few components, few chapters of my gamer origin story, I suppose.
That is pretty cool.
I will say, hard driving made me think that I was never going to be allowed to drive a car.
I definitely have a hard time transitioning from the game to actually driving a car.
The funny thing is, I remember playing that. It was at Aladdin's Castle, and I remember hating it because there's first of all, it had really great music. Why are you all the way? Oh, Wonder Woman. Why are you way all the way?
What? No, I'm not making the echo.
No, it's David. His speaker is coming back to us.
Fix that.
Yeah, if you want to plug in headphones, that'll solve it. But anyway, what I was gonna say is, that game actually made me not want to play that game ever again. I played it, and I must have pumped like $2 worth of quarters into it, thinking this is really the experience is amazing, and yet I could not master it, and so I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go play APB instead, or Afterburner, or anything else that was in there at the time, But I love the
it was a premium game, right? Because you're sitting down and stuff like that. So often the operator would price it at 50 cents.
It was a 50-cent game, yeah.
Yep, totally.
And it's one of those games where I tried playing it at the time, and I remember being terrible. It was at the movie theater, North Haven. I remember going to see the movies. They had I remember it, vividly remember playing that game, trying to go around the loop, and I crashed again. And I have a cockpit race drive in here, and I sat down and kind of made myself learn the game. And once I started to get the hang of it, I actually was like, wow, I can actually get around the course once. But trying to get more than once was just painful. And I remember in high school, I literally, so I think I was 14, 15, so I wasn't quite in high school yet, maybe just in 8th, 9th grade. I remember playing it and thinking, I am never going to get a driver's license. This feels as real as it could get in a simulation, and I am screwed.
It was awesome. It was, and again, what was key was that haptic feedback, and it's the human interface technologies. I did some a paper in grad school about that, the human interface technologies, and kind of the increasingly powerful role they're going to play, right?
When you talk about the graphics back then and how the graphics weren't great in the game, but that combined with the haptic feedback really gave you the feel of what was going on.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting because you go with games now and you have to have photorealistic in order for people to be like, well, the graphics were good. Back then, those graphics were very much line vector graphics, but the feel and how they matched up with what you were actually holding on to was so well done that it didn't matter. You didn't need to see a blade of grass. You just needed to see the green, and you knew what was going on.
Right. It's all about 4D for me as far as these games goes, right? At least the game didn't spray water in my face, but it could have, and then that would have been an additional, thing.
When I was there, this was pre-PlayStation, right? So
yep.
It was just right around when the PlayStation was hitting all that, and educational software was dying. So there was a few different dynamics happening in the market. So I would characterize, there are a couple factors I would throw in there was consumer expectation, because that's what kind of killed lots of the educational software, especially as budgets started to increase and things like that. But also, I'll tell you, there's a conversation I had with Lewis is when I was starting to do T-Mek. And back then, it's funny, I found a virtuality sales package. I'm going to show you guys later. So, I mean, this whole idea about virtual reality and all that. So then I'll just share with you that briefly what the conversation was, because at the time I was looking to market T-Mek, one of my games, but I couldn't use virtual reality market it because it wasn't quote unquote officially, headset virtual reality, but it was immersion, right? We had quadraphonic audio, we had a rumble seat, and really great graphics. And so he said something that I never forgot, which was, David, VR and all that, not all of us need, this is not verbatim, not all of us need that level of technology to get immersed. A book is immersive.
Very
if
true.
You're into books. And so a lot of that, I kind of think of it as just our different people, our imagination, like how much of our creativity and imagination are available to suspend the disbelief to immerse you in the story. Because I'll tell you, back then, on PC games or whatever, the technology, the little characters and whatever, it didn't matter because you were just all in. You were just in the experience. Lou was a dungeon master in high school too. So
there you go.
So unfair advantage for anybody who talks to him because he's something else.
Now, so you get hired by Atari Games. What's your job?
I was product manager my whole time there.
So what does a product manager at Atari Games do?
So interesting because it's quite interesting. So in marketing, there's you can think of it as three different domains.
Sure.
In product managers are into shaping the product. Product marketing, which I collectively did all of that. Product marketing is when you're ready to launch it and you're creating the materials and you're basically, you're driving all of the campaign and the marketing plan and stuff like that. And so back then in the games industry, you had these product managers that would do both. Okay, so at Atari I would do both, and that's why it's like 60 focus groups, lots of focus groups for a bunch of games.
Ooh, where would you find these people and what was the situation?
Yeah, so there was so we would do our market test. So let me tell you how CoinOp was different.
Yeah.
CoinOp, basically, we would come up with all these wild ideas, brainstorms and all this, and then we'd cultivate the concept of specific games. And, there was like a whole decision. There was a whole concept meeting that the executives and the team had to kind of pitch and the executives had to sign off. And then we would greenlight a game. And then the game would get going over multiple phases of development. But through those phases, we'd be bringing in players to give us feedback on the concept, on the characters, on initial gameplay and things like that, right? Because, and it just kind of struck me, arcade games were the first fintech. Because once we got to market tests, you only produced the game if it made money. It kind of just struck me this week. And, it's like, what, that's just the nature of, of an arcade game. That's what they do. They make money. So if they don't make money, Beavis and Butt-Head, God rest that game's soul, is in the graveyard for our arcade games because it didn't make enough money. We were a little late in the market and stuff like that. And there's there are other games. I won't say the NASCAR. You never heard of NASCAR trucks? Nope, that didn't make it either. There's a number of them because you get to that market test and it's either you're making money, and we would test it. So we would test it in different venues too, because the family entertainment centers.
Oh yeah. So tell us the difference between like you have arcades, family entertainment centers, Chuck E. Cheese, Showbiz. Yeah. They all probably perform differently.
That's right. So they had street locations too, right? So they'd be putting them a bunch of different places back in the day. A
supermarket.
Right? Yeah. So that would be like a street location. Supermarkets are like 7-Elevens and things like that. Convenience stores and things. So they have different demographics. That's all the analysis that would go into the concept and the package that we would put together with a producer to rationalize different game concepts and things like that. So that was some of the things we would do. Again, product management, product marketing, if we greenlighted production. The third is corporate marketing, which is a whole the relevant thing in corporate marketing for Atari Games was, we were owned by Time Warner at the time, so there is a period of time when we were the Atari Games and then Time Warner Interactive, and then Midway came in later and acquired the assets and things like that.
Yeah.
So there is that's like corp marketing piece to it as well. So.
All right, I want to fast forward a little bit. How long did you hang on with Atari Games?
4 years. It was a honeymoon. It was 4 years. 4 years, but I was in the Valley, and so I kept reading the paper, and so all these like amazing things were happening after Mosaic and the web was born, right?
Oh
So
my
just
God,
so
Mosaic
much.
on a
Because I was on just to go back a few years, I was on the internet doing IRC chat and BBS and all that, right? That was the internet. Then
So was
the
we.
web was born. Yeah.
So was we.
No, were you a CompuServe guy at all?
No.
Did not do that. Didn't go down that road. Okay.
Now it's funny.
No.
I had Mosaic on a 3.5-inch floppy on a Macintosh computer. 1 disc is all that took. Now I will say the first website I went to was I was like, what is this?
Yeah. Well, you had So
It was cool though.
You remember the Amiga, right?
Yeah.
So the third co-founder of Crystal was David Morris.
Oh.
He was one of the ones that helped birth the Amiga. And then so I met RJ Michael at the time and all that. That is the computer that could have changed everything if it had gotten traction and stuff like that.
Well, it made Babylon 5. I think a lot of the graphics on Babylon 5 were produced on an Amiga.
It wouldn't surprise me. And I just remember they had Dr. J. What was that? They had a basketball game on there.
Yes.
Right?
Dr. J and Mr. Bird or Larry Bird.
Mr. Yes.
One-on-one basketball? Is that it?
I remember playing. I remember playing that. But
Okay, voices FYC in here. Is that Fine Young Cannibals? Because that's freaking awesome. It says he was an Amiga tech. That's awesome. Oh, and also the Amiga was used for Sequest DSV.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
I tell you, it was the computer that you would design if you could design any computer.
Yeah, it was really
a special machine.
It also was I'm sorry for interrupting, but there's the mod format was created for the Amiga, and it was
module files, right? Music mod files, right?
And they were a 4-track. Actually, you could sample, so you could actually get legitimate. I used to have a mod site. It was called modopolis.com.
Oh, I wonder if you had any of the mod files my website had.
And I had,
it was the BBS.
Yeah, I had probably 100 files, and you could click. There was a plugin for Netscape that you could play mods.
I will tell you that something that has been consistent in all of this personal computing space has been all the little communities of people doing cool stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of stuff that gets headlines these days, a lot of these things were done on the PC, on the web. There was software before there was a web, right?
Yep.
And then that just matured, and then the mobile, came, and a lot of people tried the same doggone things,
Yeah.
So.
Oh my gosh.
Some of them are new. Most of them are the same thing. Some of them are new.
Now here's a fun thing for the chatters. I just put my my mod site that used to be modopolis.com up because I still have a mirror to it, but the mod plugin doesn't work anymore. But you can go ahead and click on it. And I have all these different categories.
You can play mod files with VLC still.
Well, maybe if there's a plugin for the browser, then I can make it work. But this was a site.
VLC will definitely still play mod files for
This is from 1995. This site.
Yep.
Isn't that awesome?
So weird.
If you click on soundtracks, there's 40 files.
So I have a question about during the production of the Beavis and Butthead game. Like, exactly, did you get to have Mike Judge in there? Like, what was the situation?
We never met Judge. But I will tell you, I cannot disclose all of our when we got the license, the trip to New York with Viacom.
Viacom.
It was a business trip for the ages. Somebody's got to put it in a book. I think a lot of Atari business trips were over the decades there. You know, it was really good times. You know, but then we got the license. The thing with I never met him. I was a product manager. Wayne Fielding was the producer, and you know, they just got going on the game. It seemed pretty fun, but games are tough, especially when they like have to earn. That's one of the differences CoinOp had with the entertainment software, the PC software at the time. And the PC software was a consumer packaged good, basically, and they would just throw them on the shelf, and they would just manage it like a consumer packaged good, right? They'd throw some on there, and they wouldn't cancel the product really so much before they would launch it, like we would have to, because we'd have to ramp up physical production, right, and order a bunch of boards and chips and hire a bunch of people to build them and things. So, and then just getting back to that, there was an interesting. In entertainment software, as it did start to mature, as the 90s unfolded, there was an effort by the industry to bring in product managers with more CPG experience. So Clorox and all that. So, but what happened after doing that for a number of years, not all of them felt the passion for the product. So the product management piece of that was pretty famously kind of like, we tried, but yeah, no. So it's just interesting, another kind of HR dynamic with regards to the games industry and how really unique the product is, and how it's crucial to find people that not just give a shit, but they just love their product, right?
I totally agree.
I mean, I love the game. I think it's fun. I don't know what I just don't know like what went wrong. I'm like.
We believed that we were just a little bit late on the market, because when you license something like that, you've got to, there are some Star Wars. There's just a few brands that are evergreen, and you can just pop them out, But at the time, Beavis and Butthead had kind of the bulk of the popularity. It was on the waning side, right. So we hit it on the latter side. So we didn't see the coin drop that we were expecting. I would like to add one more thing. I don't know if it's been shared by some of the exciting people you've interviewed. But another kind of thing that I thought would be interesting to share is, CoinOp is also there. CoinOp was very unique in that it gave birth to the microtransaction. So the first microtransaction was a quarter. When people are talking about these mobile apps and how you monetize it, how small can you make a transaction to monetize? The very first microtransaction was a quarter.
I like the way this guy thinks.
I'm sorry?
I said I like the way this guy thinks.
Well, I've, as a strategist, right? Platform wars strategist, kind of been there in the thick of it.
Yeah.
You have to think, and then see, and again, when new platforms show up, it's like, well, what should we do?
But the microtransaction goes back way before the arcade game then. And you're talking CoinOp, but we're talking dimes and nickels.
Penny arcade.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm speaking to the create a digital product, right?
Sure.
Right. So yeah, we're not going to go back to the first shilling. Right. So
right. I totally get you.
I was just going to say analytics.
Yeah.
So all those arcade games had analytics. So it was kind of like,
sure.
Da Vinci was there as well. So, how you measure an interactive experience, that's what we were doing. So in market test every week, Farouk Kodadati would go out and he would change out him and a couple others would change out the EEPROMs, because the team we would be tuning the game to try to drive the coin drop. So when all this analytics and AI and all this stuff, yeah, the the T-Rex was at Atari. That brought us all the original kind of the start of all of that was in coin-op, quite frankly, you know. So it's just something to, as you step back and think about it, it's kind of interesting, I think.
So let's talk about some of your other properties that you were closely involved with. T-Mek.
Oh yes, did you say T-Mek? Sorry, I'm all excited. It's one of my favorite games of all time.
Now there was a couple of things that you were involved with. Can you tell us about both of them?
Well, so T-Mek was, when I first got to Atari, that was like one of my, with the games that I was first kind of managing, it just took a lot of people's heart, quite frankly. So I do have some show and tell stuff from T-Mek. Here's this is an old like package of stuff. T-Mek was a head-to-head game. Let me describe it first.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it was a head-to-head game in a sit-down cabinet that had quadraphonic audio and a rumble seat because we had a big woofer underneath me.
Can I pause for just a second?
Yeah, of course.
Quadraphonic audio. Now, where have we heard that this year? Do you guys? I don't know if you know or not, David, but we had someone by the name of Suzanne Chani on the show. She did the audio design for a pinball game called Xenon, but she's also a new wave artist. She basically, not new wave, new age.
New age, yes.
She basically defined new age. Nominated for several Emmys, but her big thing is quadraphonic sound. And the cool thing about that is it's a format that people are totally unfamiliar with today, because surround sound is different, Dolby.
Yeah.
But this was quadraphonic sound is amazing.
It's for that spatial immersion.
Yeah.
And what happened, it's kind of like what happened to the CD, what CD-ROM did to music, right? And to albums, to vinyl.
For
right?
sure.
We got all fancy with our digital technology, right?
Yeah.
So we have different types, surround sound and this and that to simulate, things like quadraphonic, right? So, that would have been a great person to talk to about a lot of these things. But there's something, again, very special in the human mind that occurs when you think about just how the mind works and apply these different technologies in an interactive experience.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I'll just show you a couple things.
So T-Mek used quadraphonic sound. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and so it was a 3D for 2D game, which is, it looked like 3D, but it was a 2D hardware.
Okay.
And I don't know if you can see this. Here's the main character. Can you?
Chatters, who's played T-Mek? Oh, that's cool. That's
Nazrak.
That's awesome.
And so the cool thing about it is you would sit down and you would play this it's like an intergalactic battle where you're in a T-Mek. A T-Mek was like a tank that you would be moving back and forth with I have to get my hands on the screen with the joystick and shoot, and you had different kinds of weapons you would run over. So it's very high paced.
Yes.
When you would get blown up, you would feel it. So you'd hear people screaming, and it was a blast. It was fast action and exciting, and you'd go to kill as many people as possible, and then the game was over, right? And so you had different characters. Let me show you some of the characters. Well, here's the backside of this. The screen, right? You would have different things, a whole HUD to control it, right? And then you had all these different types of mechs.
Yeah.
So some were faster. Again, this is all game tuned, right? You'd have faster mechs, you'd have slower ones, and they'd be designed. Matt Ford is an amazing person, period. And he was the designer
of
T-Mek. So here's another kind of, this is something that I put together later, but those are some of the characters.
Those are pristine. I love them.
It was fun. When I put together an LBE, because we repurposed it, it had a really great cult following. Like, we produced it. It was great. It was going against some driving games, so it's hard to get traction against Daytona and stuff like that. But it did pretty good in terms of sales. but then I repurposed it into a location-based entertainment product, and
I
took
think
it on a tour.
I think the Mall of America when it opened had T-Mek as a playable in a couple of places, because there was a Daytona place too, but T-Mek was, I mean, that was pretty cool.
So T-Mek on some rating, whatever, is among the top 10 games.
I love it.
It had a really strong cult following and stuff. And is there anything else?
You're pretty proud of that one.
It was a special game, and so here were some of the characters. Can you see that?
Yeah. Oh, totally.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and again, I think the audio and the graphics were really good. They're very, I guess we would say, competitive at the time, but they're really great. So the LBE thing, though, that turned into a whole different product. So one of my favorite business trips was, hey, David, why don't to figure this stuff out for LBE, why don't you go travel the world and go, just spend a couple weeks to find out what we should be doing. That was a pretty awesome trip. So let me, if I can, like, here's the Macropolis. Can you see that?
Oh yeah.
So what we did is we took the experience and we created, just like Disney, we created a pre-show, then the experience of the game, and then a after show. If you can think about the theme park rides, that's what they do, right? So it was very immersive from the beginning. We would start to get you into the mood, I guess, setting the mood with the environment, and so that's what this LBE product was all about. So here's just a couple more pictures. And so at the time, family entertainment centers, they were craving products like this. This is when they had the first kind of, multi-access motion simulators, right? So there was a whole product category for this type of entertainment, So it was very cool. It was a blast. When games start to get when you get on the back end of life of products, it was hard to let go of this one. It was hard to let go. It was a lot of fun.
So what was the demise? What made you move on from Atari Games?
Son offered me a job. Well, first of all, San Francisco Rush was towards the end of my tenure. So I was a product manager.
Let's back up for San Francisco Rush.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not skip that. I mean, seriously, Brian, Mark, comments on San Francisco Rush? I mean, like,
I bought one. It's coming, but
did you?
Obviously it's
you
vintage.
just got one?
Yeah, I think so.
I was a Rush 2049.
Oh yeah, I love Rush.
I never owned a San Francisco.
San Francisco Rush is awesome. Now, were you involved in any of the promotion for or product management for the PC versions of these games, or 64 versions?
So Atari Games had Tengen. You remember? Or
sure.
So
yeah.
they were in the same building. So they were the ones that would take the properties into consumer. There was as I recall, I'm pretty sure there was a T-Mek. See, I can't let go of Nazareth and T-Mek. I thought that there was a consumer. I may be wrong. Maybe I just...
No, I think there is a consumer version of T-Mek.
There may have been. But in any case, so Tengen would be taking the products to consumers. So I was the product manager for the original San Francisco Rush, not the 2049. They had they had 2 sequels. So that was the last game that I was product manager for. But that was 97 is when it launched, as well as when I left.
Didn't Ed Log work on like the 64 version of the San Francisco Rush? Or was it 2049?
Ed Log walks on water. So I can tell you something like that. I think I have a couple neurons that would support the idea that Ed Log walked in and just grabbed something and did something like that. Well,
he was on our show, I don't know, a few months ago, and I think he talked about San Francisco Rush, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. again, that's somebody going to help Tengen, get something done.
Yeah, and Tengen is another. Isn't that another Go word or something?
I don't know about. I think it's probably a special Japanese word.
Okay. But it was Atari's pseudonym when they started making games for consoles.
That was it wasn't they had a bunch of other games too. So Atari was feeding some, but then as I recall, they were doing others. But they were on the other side of the building.
Yeah,
right?
they've always had that. Like when Atari started up, they started up Key Games to compete with themselves. So they've always had this stigma with having another name somewhere. Anyway, so that's cool. So San Francisco Rush, T-Mek, Beavis and Butt-Head, you got to be involved with all these things. That's kind of cool.
There were others. There was Hoop Fighter. That was when NBA Jam was such a big hit. We tried to converge fighting with basketball. There was Fishing Frenzy, some fishing games, action puzzle games.
Yeah.
Die Alien Scum was a working title. So it's interesting. Another thing that was happening was we had different hardwares. So we were the first ones to use actual 3D chips in interactive entertainment. So because we had a higher price point, so we could actually put a 3D chip on a board before console, because consoles don't sell for as much as arcade machines. Right, so we had multiple different, Kojag was a Jaguar with a CD-ROM and things like that. So we had the hardware. The hardware was a lot of heavy lifting by a very small team. So they actually, again, big mad props to everybody. But there were, there's some people. Well, Daryl DePriest, my sidekick, he was the other product manager. Primal Rage.
Primal Rage. That's a great game Primal Rage is a great game to convert into a multi-cabinet or a Rampart.
Oh, what? How dare you?
Hey.
Oh, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
And
I forget the gentleman. I forget his name, and I apologize because that's just what an older brain will do sometimes.
It's okay.
But what I recall, we had a motion capture studio that was initially blue, and then we painted it green. It kind of that's what happened in the industry at that point in time.
Sure.
But then we also had the stop motion, and so for Primal, and you got to get Daryl in here for sure to tell the story. But as I recall, the guy that did it learned from is Harry, like the guy who like.
Let's see, Dennis Harper, Cameron Petty, Mark Steven Pierce, Frank Quan Camp.
They were an amazing team.
Yeah.
But the stop action guy that actually that created the armatures and actually would do it, the one that did the animation, he learned from the guy that did King Kong or something, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he learned from like the whatever.
Ray Harryhausen.
Thank you. I recall that. I recall something like that.
Okay.
So just trying to think any other little stories to throw out,
Yeah, so somebody keeps asking about Stun Runner. Did you have anything to do with Stun Runner?
Stunt Runner?
I don't think you did.
No. I'm just trying to. I'm trying to think where my memory of that sits, and I didn't do it.
Sure.
There was NASCAR trucks. Like I said, you never heard of that. We went and got that license, and that never made it. And yeah, there was a number of them. Vicious Circle was a fighting game that we didn't build.
Oh.
That was cool. Killer Instinct kind of at that in that time frame as well.
Oh yeah, Killer. Yeah.
Any games that got rethemed where you're like, oh, nobody likes this theme, but now they love this theme, like.
Not rethemed. I wouldn't characterize it like that. But we would go after. It's a hits business. Like I joke. I've been joking for decades that the book I need to write is, everything I learned about business I learned at Atari Games. And I had Jim Collins teach me entrepreneurship at Stanford, and that's still the book I need to write. Jim walks on water too, but there was just some truisms that just are just true that I need to kind of put into paper at some point, or a podcast, or whatever you young folk do these days.
Well, and there is you don't know, but the guys here locally might know, there's a T-Mek for sale in Minnesota. And
what's the price?
$750 for 4 seats.
What a bargain!
4 seats. So if it's original, because each cabinet had 2, but you could network it for up to 4 people.
So the guy that did it pulled the original monitors out, put flat screens in, so it's not quite as heavy, but it is impressive.
Yeah, no, it's a special experience. Really, I swear.
It really is. I had one of them in Hawaii for a little while, and I did not have the room to keep it, so I had to get rid of it. But it truly is an amazing game. I mean, the technology that went into it, and I apologize, it's 2 seats that he has. But the feel of that game was absolutely amazing. It's a really neat. If you haven't played one, you really do need to play it. It was a step forward in kind of games at the time, and the immersive experience. You really do get something out of quadraphonic sound. It's really phenomenal to do it. It's not just speakers around you. It really is a kind of full-on experience. So that'll be my pitch for it.
Yeah, no, if you can find it, definitely drop a $20 into it. I gotta look for some tissue. I'm gonna be sitting here. It's like, dude, didn't you have a tissue box by you? And honestly, I don't see one, so I'm gonna have to power through.
That's all right.
Oh, yeah. Well, we can give you a little break. We'll have a little chit chat.
No, my daughter will walk in and say, "Daddy, you need to." Yeah, she's 6, and So, in any case, so what made me leave Atari? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the end of that?
Again, in the Valley, all kinds of things. It was go-go days. It was wild. It was nuts. And Sun Microsystems, who I'd competed with a lot at HP, they were just taken off at a whole different level. They were like the backbone. They were the server of the internet, right? So they had a consumer group, not a group. I was like the group. They had JavaSoft that was doing consumer. And I was offered a job at SME, which was on the microelectronics side for the Java chips, but they needed help trying to, help them with the consumer technology. So I was an industry manager and led all that from SME, and we coordinated with JavaSoft to take on, I guess one way you could say is Windows CE, because another thing that was happening at the time is everyone was afraid of Bill Gates. And him getting into their business, I don't know. But anyways, what happened was the Java consumer technology was a unique kind of alternative to going into Windows CE land for companies. And so
which we referred to as Wince.
Yeah,
Wince.
We cultivated a really big ecosystem, actually, because we had the whole stack of providers, the consumer electronics companies, the chips. You had to get everybody together there, and that's what we did. So I put together something called Java Technology Town. I don't know how much you want me to get into that, but I'll just kind of end it there. I have it. Hey, wait. I do have.
A spoon?
A Java ring. So
a ring. Nice.
To do Java consumer technology, the smallest was on a chip. The smallest software version, right? And then
that's cool.
Java, what ended up a big win for Java was in the cell phone, right? So all the Nokias and like a bunch of the manufacturers went with Java to do their software applications. And then I closed a really big deal just as I was leaving Sun with Disney Televentures. Disney Televentures was formed when the 1996 Telecommunications Act allowed the RBOCs, the regional bell operating companies, to take on the cable companies. So they partnered with Disney to create their user experience called the Navigator. And so we helped them. They used Java TV for that. And later that kind of built a lot of credibility for the platform. So it's basically the Blu-ray. Java TV is the software platform in the Blu-ray because the global standard bodies at the time thought it was the way to go.
Well,
oh wow! I know that I have a friend that used to work for TiVo, and he used Java,
TiVo,
like an ancient version of Java, that I think did not have the hooks in it yet, but good times.
Well, you had your footprint, right? You only had so much space because you had, as a standard, you had to define how much memory and all these different things that you would use for these different platforms. Right. So it was exciting days, though. Like there were so many things that were happening back then. Again, so in the Valley, this was when all these different devices were being thought about, envisioned, and companies were out there and they were building little set-top boxes, and the phones were starting to. I've got my first phone. I found it. I thought I'd bring it. Oh my!
Oh.
I forgot my T-Mek shirt. I knew I shouldn't have had this. I keep coming back to T-Mek.
Okay, let's see the shirt.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, sorry.
So
this was a concert shirt because I created an intergalactic tour.
Oh, that's cool. I love that.
Wow.
Does it have all the cities on the back? Oh, that's funny.
That's really cool.
It does have the cities.
It does.
I love it. That's awesome.
It was awesome. Sorry. I
want to do an arcade radio shirt with all the cities that people listen from. That'd be fun.
All 20.
Oh,
no.
6.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. Phones were this. I miss these simple phones too.
Oh,
I do. I was thinking about that. I mean, life was just simpler, and my memory worked better. I had to remember things.
My first phone, I don't remember. Was it something Tel? Something Tel was the. Anyway, it was a Sony, and it had a flip earpiece. You click the earpiece, and it went up. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Oh, I had one where the mouthpiece flipped down. I still have it, actually.
My first job, I swore I wasn't going to carry a phone, so they gave me a pager. And I'm walking through Philadelphia train station, had it on my hip, and it went on vibrate. It's the first time I ever got paged. I thought I was getting electrocuted. I dropped the entire lunch tray I was carrying. I had no idea what was going on. I thought, oh, God. And everything went everywhere. And it was amusing to everybody else.
I used a pager to help me pass. I think it was a chemistry test, but long story there. So.
I think the first smartphone was the P900. If you guys remember that, it was a Sony Ericsson.
Oh yeah.
New apps. It had a great camera, and it was. I carried that phone till I got my first iPhone.
I had a Palm phone.
The Palm.
The Palm 1. That thing was a piece of junk.
Wow.
You couldn't.
I know.
It pretended to be smart, but it was pretty dumb.
They called them dumb phones after the Apple. The iPhone killed so much stuff. It's just sad.
Yeah.
I ran my buddy's industrial design firm, before the iPhone.
Yeah.
And back then you had the Palm Pilot, right? You had
the Palm Pilots were all over the friggin' place. Yeah.
But the PIM app is what had your contacts, right, and all of that.
Yeah.
And then the sync. Remember, Newton died because it didn't have the sync that Palm Pilot did. With Newton, you had to put everything in, but that button is what gave birth to the Palm Pilot, and that sync was a huge innovation that enabled that platform. But yeah, so I had, as we were talking to different companies about the handhelds, there was, I called it the Alpha Omega, which became the iPhone. It didn't become, I'm sorry. As I was at an industrial design firm,
yes,
we'd concept a lot of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the Alpha Omega is what Apple got right, and a key part of that was just the App Store, just because everything they're the ones that created an app for that kind of context, and that's what changed the world really. Because and just in closing, Bill Gates did not create the personal computer.
What?
For humanity.
No.
The smartphone is the personal computer for the other 5 billion people.
Correct.
He created the personal computer at work, like the enterprise for Western cultures, for all that. But the personal computer for humanity is the smartphone.
That's interesting. Steve Jobs wins again.
You know, I worked at Compaq, and they came out with the iPack.
Oh yeah,
which was kind of an interesting device.
It slid into we actually used the iPacks, Mark, in our early fingerprinted devices for in the field for cops.
No way.
So the iPack would slide into this device, and you put your finger in there.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I was the webmaster for Compaq from 1997 until 2000, and the marketing department ran the IT department, which is the opposite way it usually is. Or there's a division now where the business tells the IT what you want to build, and then you like your partners or whatever. And so it had so many. There were so many yelling and arguments about what it was supposed to be called. It was like, I was like, who cares? The strangest thing. And then of course, whatever. It did what it did. But
it's important, but I like how you describe marketing leading the tech, because the business has to drive it. Business and experience. I mean, that's really, you can just look back at the I call it the graveyard of startups and things like that. It's just kind of, it's what's the business, and then what is this user experience that's supposed to deliver against these metrics, and then just deliver it, whether it's whatever it is, really.
Right. I love it. Good times.
All right, so guys, final questions.
Oh, what was that?
Was the BB?
Final questions.
That was the. We're 15 minutes past the hour. Beat.
So now you've never met Alanis Morissette, right? Is that correct?
What does that have to do with anything?
No, there's another David Macias. It's confusing. I don't like who's this other guy. And
not Macias. It's Macias.
Macias, yes.
So, I guess what is the most excuse me, cherished memory, like the memory that sticks out, that is the most poignant memory from Atari? It could be good, bad, could be like whatever. Just like, what's the one that just like when you think back, you're like, oh gosh, yep.
I love that face.
That's a tough one.
He's like,
don't make me cry.
Oh, he can't talk about it.
Oh no, he can talk about it.
You know what it is? It was when the teams would be playing the games together. I would call that, because what's beautiful about games is that they're social. And something that I learned at Atari in the mid 90s is, at its best, technology cultivates social, Later, I thought I added empowerment, that's another thing that I learned about, technology empowers humanity, but also kind of life is a social game is another thing I've been saying for a long time. But that social, we would be playing games that were networked at work, screaming as we would kill each other. You'd hear it just, and then we had a game room, and then, we would go into different labs where the people had different games. We'd just go in, and as a product manager, I would hang out a lot, and Mark Pierce, the executive producer, I would kick his, you hear this, Mark? I would kick your ass.
Yes.
At San Francisco, and the team at San Francisco Rush. Cameron, I got to give props to the designer, but I had to show up and not be the wimpy ass. So I think I did pretty good on Mary's team, but it was, man, that's sure we had a really totally crazy business trips that were a lot of fun, but just that connection that the games would cultivate with the people you're building them with, that was like magic sauce.
Did you ever think at the time that, like, I'm freaking working for Atari?
I was on a professional honeymoon for a couple of years easily.
Yeah.
Where I was just I was walking on air to and from work. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, like I said, imagine your boss saying, "Hey, go travel the world and go explore LBEs." That was one of my trips, right? And it's just, you're doing good, fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
The question is, can you make money at it? That was your challenge.
There you go.
It's kind of, as I was leaving, I had, Beavis and Butt-Head. I was kind of like, okay, Stanford MBA, Beavis and Butt-Head. What am I doing with my life? So that was part of talking to my parents, right? Because my parents were never like, games, what are you doing games for? You know, it
Sure.
took decades for them to say, "Oh shit, games are everything." You know,
Yes.
Yeah.
entertainment.
Yeah.
But back then, it wasn't quite like that.
The perception wasn't.
Yeah. So, but it was. Now I'm having a middle-aged brain fart. I did pretty good before my first.
He was just saying, what was your favorite memory?
Yeah. Well, I answered that one. So
Yeah.
You did well. Awesome. Thank
Mark.
you.
Mark,
What?
last questions for the.
Any hot tubs in any of your stories that you have not told us about? Just checking.
No.
Oh, dang it. Okay.
Not hot tubs.
It's funny. I don't remember us asking Nolan Bushnell that question.
Why didn't we? We were too intimidated.
Now, I honestly, I don't remember asking a number of questions. But...
Well,
yeah.
It was good times. I mean, when the second series of Star Wars movies were on, we would just close and go watch the movies and do stuff like that. Because that's kind of the business we were in. We were just check.
We posted a picture of you when we knew you were going to come on the show, and you're standing next to Nolan Bushnell. Why is that?
That was at one of the anniversary parties. That was the 40th. That was the 40th.
Ooh.
The 50th is.
Oh my God.
Next year.
Oh my God.
So and I wasn't there in the beginning. I was there in the mid '90s, right?
Sure.
But it's brutal. So I started in '93. So and I got out of business school in '92. So we're pushing 30 years. Yeah, man.
I love that. I love that David's only a couple years ahead of me.
That's nice.
So
this means you had a whole '80s. Did you like arcade games in the '80s?
So I grew up in Vegas, and I was a busboy, which is a whole other story. Because I saw Rush front row and Van Halen 10 rows back.
Oh my God.
That's what inspired. That's my drummer origin story.
Nice.
But as I was I'm sorry.
Were there any girls at the Rush concert? I'm just checking. No, don't answer that. Keep going.
It was Vegas was on the tour route, so all the big everybody musically went through there. Lots of everybody. But so as a busboy, there was a joust on the way out. So
cool.
After my swing shift, I would leave all my tips in Robotron, and there was a couple arcades that I went to. So that was kind of some of the early inspiration. But Joust in Robotron would just I'd make my money and then I'd give it all away. Wow. I'd make it and give it all away. And jokingly, I would joke with friends when I was at Atari saying, yeah, my job is to take all of a kid's quarters and have them go to their mother's purse and get all of her quarters and put it in the cash box.
Yeah, it's funny. I love it.
What do you do for a living?
I'm supposed to go see Lindsey Buckingham tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to go.
Oh, that sounds fun.
It does.
38 specials over here tomorrow. Should I go to it? Is it any
I don't
good?
know, but my tickets are VIP sound checks. So I'm supposed to see
I'm in nosebleed, so whatever.
I'm in center, sixth row, and he's supposed to play
10 songs.
Yeah,
That's
2 or 3 songs before the show. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
Okay. Where are we? What? Brian turned his lights off.
Brian's given up.
I pulled up 38 special. Boom.
Good.
Don't play it. We'll get banned. We'll get banned. What happened to your flashing lights, by the way? I love the flashing lights. So, David, I'm going to say it's a good time to wrap up, I think, for tonight.
Somebody may have skinned a police car.
Now,
pulled over.
Speaking of Ghostbusters, David, Brian, you got to tell them what those are for.
Well, this is, so the Ghostbusters arcade game, I actually bought this. So I got these from China. These are true, rotating lights. They're actually not LEDs that spin. So there's actually a mechanical spinning mirror in there, which is pretty wild. It's got the speaker in the middle. I was going to put this on top because it was the closest to an Ecto 1 light bar I could get without getting the 63-inch, whatever it is. But yeah, and it's got you got the microphone and everything. So I mean, you can
You can talk over the microphone as well.
I love it.
But you've got like, I mean, all sorts of sounds, So, anyways, that's my fun. But it hasn't gotten on top of the cabinet yet, so I just get to play with it in the background.
It's been behind him for 2 years. So just...
It was probably set around for a year before that somewhere else.
Oh man,
I've got to tell you, I've been blessed to work in so many different markets, like across enterprise, digital health. I worked at the company that came up with the Wiimote technology, right? So
that's cool.
And RFID back when the guy that created Edge Intelligence and IoT, kind of, a long time ago. But there's something that really just touches me so deeply, and it resonates when I just have any kind of a conversation with people like you who just totally just appreciate the early days of tech and how it converged with entertainment and the DIY, the jumping in there and being a part of it. It's very special. I gotta tell you.
Well, we love having guests like you. This has been a lot of fun. We'd love to, have a follow-up visit at some point too, just because I think we scraped a lot of the surfaces tonight, but I think we covered a lot of ground too. Well, the chatters have been having a great time. I know I've been having a great time. And go ahead, Mark.
There are some stories we need to get into a little bit more in a follow-up.
Right.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Deep dive.
It'd be a pleasure to come back if you guys were interested in,
for sure.
my meanderings.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we'll wrap it up for tonight because I don't want to keep you late. It's got to be at least 7:30 there. You got to go to bed soon. It
is, right? I'm looking at the timer. I totally lost track. I just first time I
saw
it.
Here we're at Arcade Radio. We're all in Central Time. We're like, it's just
they're dozing.
Yeah.
It's been great. I really appreciate the opportunity.
No,
I've been looking forward to it, and
we've had a blast tonight.
It's great, yeah.
And thanks again. And I want to remind our listeners that next week is our season finale. We are jumping ahead a week, so 9/9 tune in. There'll be Ed Rotberg and Owen Rubin on next week. And it's going to be a fun time. So join us, another set of Atari guests. How can you go wrong, right?
You can't.
I don't know.
You cannot.
So we're going to wrap things up. Everybody tuned into their pages here because
we have pages.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I just make it up.
So thanks for tuning in tonight. This has been the Double R's. That's Arcade Radio.
Check out our website, RcadeRadio.com. That's RC.